Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is David and what do you know? It's video number 2 in the great return. I think at this point in time we can probably call it a comeback, but you never know. We will see how things progress. But I want to just take a moment and update you on what I've just finished reading not that long ago, books I'm in the middle of reading, and the books I'm just now starting. Because now that I'm motivated, I'm reading voraciously, but like I always did, I'm reading like 17 books at a time. It's a problem. I'd probably get a lot more done if I just focused in on one, but that's okay. So we're going to start with the book that I just finished reading a couple of days ago. It's going to be hard to see on here, I apologize, but it is Harlan Ellison from The Land of Fear. So these are some short stories by Harlan Ellison. And unfortunately, this collection of his short stories is not one that I would recommend. It had one notable inclusion, which was Soldier, which came at the very end, which was followed by a screenplay of Soldier, penned by Harlan Ellison himself. But other than that, I mean, it's good fiction. I mean, even Harlan Ellison, at his not greatest, is better than a lot of other writers. So I really enjoyed it. But if you see it, I don't know that I could recommend picking it up because I don't know that there's any reason to. I am in the middle of reading, pretty close to the middle, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. I know I'm late getting around to this. I read The Martian a few years ago and enjoyed it. Enjoyed the movie, I think, more than the book. I have a strong suspicion that that's going to be the same case in this one. I think I'm going to enjoy the movie far, far more than this book, but I have not seen the movie yet because I wanted to read through this book. So halfway through, it's enjoyable. I don't know that it's my cup of tea. I don't think it's the type of science fiction that I look for. And that's okay. I still enjoy it. And it's a very, very fast-paced read. So that is my, when I want to go through things quickly, that's what I'm reaching for. As a counter to that, though, when I want things to go very, very, very slowly, I reach for this monster tome. So this is the Histories of Middle-earth, Part 1. I have all 3 parts of this History of Middle-earth. I am just about at the end of the Lays of Beleriand. I believe I'm down to the appendix at the end. And then I will be jumping into the Shaping of Middle-earth. These have been on my shelf far too long. They've always intimidated the crap out of me because it's like 5,000 pages all put together. But how can I call myself a Tolkien fan if I've never actually read through these? So that is the challenge. I am slow burning my way through them and giving myself permission to just read like a little bit and then move on to something else for a while and then come back. The book that I just started reading about a week ago and is just an absolute delight. I can't even say it's probably my favorite book that I'm going to be showing you because there's another fierce competitor, potentially too. But this has been a breath of fresh air and is probably going to be my own personal favorite of things that came out in 2026. I don't know that there's a legitimate competitor that isn't like just a new translation or a new re-release of things. And that is Galahad and the Grail by Malcolm Guite. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But this is fantastic. It is very much in the Arthurian tradition of being told in a poem. It has a very, very long line historically of people that have done that. This is volume 1 of a 4-volume planned series of his. And I am so excited for all 4 of the volumes in it. The Coming of Arthur, I believe, is volume 2. That should be coming out next year, I think. And I'm words can't express. This is exactly what I've needed. It was strongly recommended to me by somebody I hadn't talked to in a couple of years that just emailed me out of the blue to catch up. And they recommended that I read this if I hadn't yet. And then that led me to bookish stuff, which led me to Steve Donahue and Michael K. Vaughan, which led me to making the last video, which is making this video. Funny how that works. Now, two other books that some of you will be interested, some of you will not be as interested in. I'm working my way through Reflections on the Psalms by C.S. Lewis. I'm trying to eventually work my way through all of C.S. Lewis, I think. I've read a fair amount of Lewis. I've gotten just a little ways in here. These are just essays. Not quite what I was expecting it to be, but I had recently finished rereading the Psalms when I decided to pick this up, and it's been a few weeks, and I really need to make some more progress on this. So I am enjoying it. I always enjoy his writing. The one that probably none of you will be reading or ever have reason to read, but I am working my way through How to Teach Kids Theology, because I am currently helping as a children's pastor and would love to become one full-time at some point in time. So expect there to be a recurring thread of those kinds of books. So now we get to the ones that I'm just starting. This week, just starting. And I'm going to have 4 books that I'm going to be talking about. And you are all welcome to join me on any of them if you happen to have them and are interested in. The first of these is a buddy read that I'm doing. Yes, you heard me right, buddy read. Video number 2. I've already got one locked in. The Name of the Rose by Umberto Eco. This has been on my I should read this list for a long time. And Scott Danielson, when I reached out to him, suggested we should do a buddy read. I sent him a list of books that were on my horizon, and he picked this one as one he wanted to read. So for the next 4 weeks, we are working our way through this. So this is broken into 7 days. We're doing days 1 and 2 this week, days 3 and 4 next week, day 5 the week after that, and day 6 and 7 on the 4th week. Obviously with the ability to slow down if we need to. So far I have read the prologue and I'm going to be diving into day 1 today. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this. It is something that I think is going to be hitting all the right notes for me as a reader. Speaking of hitting all the right notes, this is one of my favorite books I'm going to be reading right now. And that is The Works of the Gawain Poet. Yes, this monstrosity from Penguin Classics. This has Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, Pearl, Patience, and Cleanness, which are the 4 poems that are attributed to this anonymous poet who wrote in Middle English back around Chaucer's time, but was from a different region than Chaucer. I've done videos, I'm pretty sure, on Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, breaking it down. And if I remember, I'll even link to those down in the comments. The reason why I'm revisiting this is I want to take a slow burn through the Sir Gawain and the Green Knight through the rest of this year. And I'm focusing on trying to read it in the Middle English. So it is in the Middle English. It's got a good gloss down at the bottom to help go through it. But this is going to get my Middle English translation muscles working again so that I can dive back into things like Chaucer and things like that. Because that makes my medievalist brain very happy. And I'm so excited. Full disclosure, you don't have to read them in Middle English. Join me. If you have never read any of the works of the Gawain poet, but happen to have a copy on your shelf, I'd love to chat with you. Because it is one of my favorite poets. I love all 4 of the poems in there. I'm planning to read all 4 of them. I just finished the introduction Monday, and I'm planning on diving into Sir Gawain and the Green Knight immediately after that, and then coming back and hitting the other 3 afterwards. But I'd love to chat about it. So the last 2 things I'm going to talk about. I don't have covers for either of these, because I just got recommended by somebody to sign up for NetGalley today. So I did, and put in a request on a couple of books, and got some approvals. And so I have NetGalley copies that I'm going to be reading. So I probably won't talk very much about them on the channel, but I will be reviewing them on NetGalley and potentially writing about them at some point in time. But one of them is a Penguin Classics. It doesn't have a cover. So this is the Poems of Catullus, which is a poet who lived in the 1st century BCE. This actually is a new edition that's coming out. It is a dual language edition with parallel text, translated by Stephanie McCarter. And I'm pretty sure I've read at least some of his poems in the past, but it'll be good to go through. I believe it has all of them in here, but I don't know that for 100% certain. But I'm excited to dive in there. And yes, Steve, if you'd like to chat about them, I'm more than happy to hear your thoughts on them. The other one I'm going to be reading, I am even more excited about. Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I read through this, The Golden Age Masterworks of Jarell of Giori by C.L. Moore. One of the NetGalley things caught my eye, and that is a Penguin Classics speculative fiction hardcover edition coming out of Jarell of Giori. And so this has got the same 6 stories that are attributed to her that are in that Masterworks, plus 3 additional stories. So this has got Black God's Kiss, Black God's Shadow, Jarell Meets Magic, The Dark Land, Hell's Guard, Quest of the Star Stone, but it also includes Shambleau, No Woman Born, and Vintage Season. So I am excited to reread Jarell of Giori and read 3 more stories by C.L. Moore and really dive in on those, because it may be some Sumerian September coming up, but I think I'm going to be reading Jarell for my Sumerian September, and apologizing profusely to Michael K. Vaughan that is the sword and sorcery that I'm choosing to go into this time around, rather than joining him on reading Cull and Bran McMorn and Solomon Kane, all of whom are excellent, all of whom I've read multiple stories through, and would be happy to be rereading those as well. But yeah, that is my new plan, is I'm going to be reading a little bit of Jarell of Giori each and every day, reading a little bit of Catalyst every single day, and chipping my way through Sir Gawain and the Green Knight a little bit at a time in smaller chunks. I imagine the next book I finish is probably going to be Galahad and the Grail, though, because I am absolutely loving it. I'm probably halfway through that, and here I am rambling, just like always. It's like the old times, isn't it? So if you want to do anything, if you want to buddy read in the future, if you want to tag and do a tag, yeah, I guess this is the open invitation that I am officially probably back. We'll see. We'll see how often this happens. We'll see how often we can carve out the time. But I promise you, I will be reading more than I had been in the past, and be happy to talk about it whenever I get this camera on. So I will catch you next time.